Hey y'all, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne here, coming to you live from the beach. Kimberly is here. She's coming to us live from her living room with her cute decorations, and we are ready to talk about 90 Days, Before the 90 Days, Season 6, Episode 10, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Did you see that movie, Kimberly?
Yes.
I did too.
No, maybe I did. I definitely watched it like years later, like not as a child.
Right. You're younger than me. I think it came out when I was like in high school and it was like real edgy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I honestly can't remember if I saw it or not. James Spader either really turns me on or really freaks me out. And it may be a little bit of both.
Young James Spader, good. Older James Spader, bad.
See, and I'm... yeah, I guess I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either one has it's a complicated thing.
It's a complicated feeling.
Yeah, it's like a dangerous excitement.
Oh.
I'm all on Twitter.
Like Jasmine and Gino, huh?
No, we're just going to skip them this week. Nothing really happened. We're not going to talk about them.
No, girl. They're yours this week. Yeah, that was really something. And it was really not something good. It was really something I could have done without. And I didn't want to talk about it. So you got to do it.
You know those really uptight, really religious people who complain that when gay people are kissing on TV? Where are they that are allowing this on TV? Because they're a straight couple, it's fine.
It's not fine. It's
where is our rating system?
Exactly.
There has to be some sort of warning.
Yeah. I mean, my son was sitting here and he was like, "Oh, you're going to watch this? I'll watch it with you." I go, "Okay." And I put it on and he was like, and the first thing is Jasmine talking about Gino ejaculating. And he's like, "What's going on here?"
I've never been so glad to not be at my parents' house because normally we watch together and it's horrible. Like when we saw Devil's Advocate together and there was a threesome with Keanu Reeves and it was too much. That I was in high school for. Also, remember when I couldn't hear out of my left ear when I had an ear infection? I longed for that. I wanted a double ear infection.
Yeah, but you didn't. And so you got to recap it. And I'm sorry. But luckily for you, we're not going to start with them this week.
Oh, thank Jesus.
We're going to start with Eeyore and Razvan.
Yeah.
Amanda looks more and more sad and depressed as the episodes go forward. This was a horrible idea. She should have never left her kids and come to Romania. She should have left after 1 week.
Yeah. And then we were all like worried that she was going to get hurt and we were so wrong. We're worried now that she's going to destroy him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even care if she gets hurt at this point. She's brought it on herself. Everyone warned her.
We have no feelings for her at this point because she's so
At one point she starts laughing a lot and she covers her face every time she laughs, which I think is that I can't be seen having fun because my husband died. And so it's like, then don't go on this show where you're supposed to be a romantic with this guy. If you can't ever allow yourself to be seen smiling, that's a bad idea.
And now I'm wondering if they are banging and they have like agreed not to tell the producers.
Right. So they're just going to tell everyone that she has her period. Everyone they meet, shopkeepers, anywhere they go. They go to the grocery store. Well, she needs more iron now because she's on her period. So can we get that meat? Sorry, I should say meat. Jasmine and Gino. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I did think she might not be that bitchy and she's acting super bitchy as this defense mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think it comes very easily to her and that she might actually be that bitchy.
I think she seems like a deer in the headlights at all times.
Yeah, but like a bitchy deer in the headlights. Like Bambi was an asshole.
Speaking of that, last night, so what we do at night is we get on the golf cart and we go look at the birds, that all these white birds come to this one section.
Oh my God. Your life is so mad. You're like, what's Cinderella with the birds coming and flying and landing on your shoulder?
Yes. No, that would not work out for me. I would freak out. But they come every night to the alligator pond is the place that you go to look at the alligators if they maybe one comes by.
Oh
Anyway,
my
the birds
God.
all go there and it's incredible. I'll send you a video. They all come in. It's so pretty. And they're all talking to each other. And so we did that last night and then we stopped at the alligator pond as we do. And then we went to our secret alligator spot as we do.
Oh my
That
gosh.
not everybody knows about. And we did see one. And
Aren't you scared?
no, they're in the water and you're up above. I mean, no.
They're fast.
Look, I'm not
like they're super fast.
I'm not dangling something over. Like we know how to respect them. I mean, we know how, some people don't. Some people act like fools.
Yeah.
But we just watch. And so this one comes by and Anna says, that's our friend. What's her name? I was like, Claudine. And Anna's like, what? I don't know. It just came to me. Her name's Claudine. And then we saw her again today. We're like, Claudine. But we, as we were driving away from the second lookout last night, my son was driving and he was sort of looking off to the side. We're talking about like a house that was being built or something. And we were looking at it. And then I looked forward and 3 deer were like right in front of the golf cart. And I grabbed his arm. I grabbed his arm and I was like, ah! And he slammed on the brakes of the golf cart. I was like squealed the brakes of the golf cart. And I was like, God, Mom, like I'm driving. And I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't think you saw it. I'm sorry. So because he hates being with me in the passenger seat because I'm so like a nervous passenger.
Yeah.
But that just reminded me of deer in headlights. Like literally there were 3 deer in our headlights. And we just looked up and they were there. One of them was a baby.
Oh,
it was so cute. And then we went real slow to see if we could get them to come back out so we could take a picture of them. But they were pissed.
Yeah. They don't like humans for very good reason.
Correct. But you don't shoot them on Bald Head Island. They just live amongst us.
Oh, that's amazing.
They're no hunting here.
We've been doing these frogging episodes. And someone just sent me an article that someone went up to their attic or crawl space and there was an alligator living in there. So I don't know how. I thought they had to be near water, but maybe it was just coming and going every day. So they had a frogger alligator, an alligator frog.
Well, how would it get what?
I don't know. Can it use the stairs? Can alligators use the stair? I guess they can.
They can, yeah.
Then there you go.
I've seen one here before, one of the big ones. Like a big one is like, I don't know, 12 feet, like really big. Yeah. I've seen a big one here swimming really fast. And that is a little disconcerting when they swim really fast.
They can move so fast. And they're dinosaurs.
They can.
I have a healthy fear of them. Like I don't have a phobia. I think we all should be very cautious.
Yes, absolutely. There's a case every year of a dog going missing here, for sure. Yeah. If your dog gets out, it's game over.
Yeah.
It's game over.
And people and children.
And people and children. Yeah, we used to see people like this big alligator would come out every day and sun itself, and it's sort of near where the road is. And we would see people stop their golf carts, like walk over there with their toddlers to like get a good view. And I'm like, you need to look at it from your golf cart and then get ready to punch it.
Exactly.
But
I don't think that you could go as fast in a golf cart as they can move on their little legs. They can move super fast.
I believe that. So the golf carts here,
how
most
fast
of them
do alligators run? 20
they
miles per hour.
The golf carts go 18.
So they could beat you.
Mm-hmm. What if you got a head start?
Yeah.
If an alligator starts at one end of the island at 3:00 and you start at the other end of the island at 3:02, at what time will you meet up? Yeah. Okay. So deer in the headlights, Amanda, let's go. Let's start with them.
I think you're shading deer by saying, I don't like this analogy. She is not a deer in the headlights. She is a biatch in the headlights. But again, she's had grief. She's had loss. I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, I have a very complicated feeling about her. I really do.
I think we all do. Yeah.
Yeah. So they head out to dinner and he says, I just want to forget all the fights. And so I'm going to take her out for a traditional Romanian dinner at a romantic restaurant. And so she laughs. He's describing the food. And this is when she's just laughing so hard because some of the like descriptions are so crazy. And she's putting her hands over her face every time she laughs.
Yeah.
It's just like such an unusual emotion.
It is.
And
what is why the sides of my mouth are moving upwards instead of downwards?
And he says one of the things on the menu is pork brain. And he goes, yeah, this is all just very traditional food. And he says, what will you do if my mom cooked pork brain? And she says, oh, well, I guess I would have to politely decline. And he says they are going to meet his family. They live in Croatia now. His dad moved there for a job, and he worries about her being difficult.
Yeah.
His family didn't like his ex-wife. His mom felt his ex-wife was controlling. And so she's like, do you think your family will like me? Like, what if they don't? Is it like a deal breaker? And he says, I think they'll like you because you're Christian, you have a good soul, and you love me. What my mom is not going to like is if I tell her I'm going to move to America. But I've always wanted to move there. That's been my dream since I was a child. And she knows this. And she was like, well, I didn't know that. That's brand new information. And he goes, yeah, I've told you. I've always told you that. She's like, no. He's like, yes, I've told you from the beginning. It's always been my dream. And she goes, don't you think it's strange? It's a red flag. Don't you think it's strange? Is it strange? Don't you think it's strange? He's like, no, it's not strange. And it's not about America. It's about you. Like, I would want to be there to be with you. And she's like, I have to be cautious and ask a lot of questions here because there's a lot at stake. It's not just me. I have my kids, you know. But it's interesting because in the talking head, he's like, the most important thing in a relationship is trust. And I don't think she trusts me.
No.
And I think I feel very insecure because I'm investing all my feelings, but she can't stop herself from finding reasons to argue with me.
I mean, the fact is, if she were any other person, we would hate him. We would think that he is a scammer and a player and a cheater trying to come to America for a green card.
Yeah, you're right.
But because she's so unlikable, we are on Team Razvan.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he says, you know, I don't have bad intentions with you. Like, I love you. I don't necessarily care about America, but I do love you. And she says, in her talking head, she's like, you know, it seems like a red flag, but I really want this relationship to work. I'm like, why? You don't even like him.
No.
Have you like anybody?
No. You were smiling at the brains on the menu. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the first time we've seen you smile. And when they walked into the restaurant, she's like, it's old. He takes her to the park. There's trees.
These buildings, disgusting.
Why do they look like that?
Today they're going to go to a pool party, and his friend Diana will be there, and we've met her before, and some of Diana's friends, and he's wearing a pink Hawaiian shirt, and it's very literally a shirt that is pink that says the word Hawaii all over it.
Yeah.
And Diana walks up in this very, very tiny revealing bathing suit. It was like, oh, hi, I'm Diana. Is this your American girl?
In a string bikini.
Total evil character.
Yeah.
And then Diana goes, Amanda, don't you want to change your clothes? Like, didn't you even tell her it's a pool party? And Razvan says, she's on her period. And she's like, oh my God, Razvan.
In front of not just her, two other dudes.
I know.
Like, there's a table full of people.
Yeah, it was so
not
awkward.
That you should be embarrassed. It's biological. It's fine. But, like, that's not his place to say that.
No. And by the way, you can get in a pool if you're on your period, okay? It's 2023.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he tells Diana, in a few days, we're going to meet my parents. And she goes, yeah, his parents don't speak any English, so I hope he translates correctly. He goes, oh, I will. She's like, you better. Stare. And then Diana goes, so how do you like being in Romania? And she goes, well, I have to get used to it because this is a city and I'm used to more like living in a town. And then he goes, yeah, you're getting used to it. And she goes, like, I guess. Wah, wah. It's just super awkward. And Diana says to the other people at the table, look at her, how she looks at him. It's like, rawr. Like, she obviously hates you, right?
Yeah. I don't even think rawr is appropriate because that implies some sort of, like, feeling. She's just so detached that it's just like,
she's just dead
unimpressed. Nothing.
Yes.
It's here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Diana takes Amanda off to the side and was like, so how is it working? You fight? You know, when you start a relationship, you want peace and not fight. Do you love him? Are you just attached to him? When I look in your eyes and I look in his eyes, it's like, I love you so much, but I want to kill you. And this look I know is a toxic relationship. And the toxic people do that. So how is it possible to love a person in 6 days? It's so hard to understand. She's like, whoa.
So
whoa.
again, if any other friend was acting like this, we would hate them. But because she's doing it to Amanda, part of us is like, well, that's incredibly rude of her to do. But also, she's right and go for it. And she realized her friend's storyline on the show is a dud and it's going to be canceled soon. So this is her one chance to be on TLC. She's going to wear a string bikini and she's going to come in hot.
Yeah. Yeah. And that bathing suit looked a little like a diaper. A little bit. So she's just, Amanda's just nonstop petting her hair, petting her hair, petting her hair. And Amanda's like, no, like, we love each other. We do love each other. And Diana says, well, he went through a lot with his ex, and he's a very special person, and I don't want him to be hurt. It's hard to find a guy like this. And in her talking head, she was like, yeah, I don't know if Diana has an ulterior motive, but it's super awkward that she's saying all this stuff.
Yes.
And then we get Diana, the producer's talking to her on the street, and she goes, it's not love. It's a form of attach. And I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's health relationship. It's not going to work.
I mean, we said Diana's first appearance, we said she is obviously into him and is jealous.
It seemed like it, yes.
But she's not wrong about any of this. But also, like, if someone was saying that to your face about a brand new relationship, wouldn't you feel more emotion and anger if you were Amanda? It's like she feels nothing. She's like, she's saying that we're toxic. I love him. That's not true. I love him. I don't know why she's saying that. Like, no emotion. Any other person would just start screaming at Diana. Like, why? I just met you. Why are you saying my relationship is toxic?
Yeah, you just met me like 2 seconds ago, and maybe we had a giant fight in the car. You don't know why. Like, I'm staring daggers at him.
Yeah.
It was,
Amanda feels nothing.
I think that's right. And I think even when she was like, oh, are you excited to go see his parents? And she's like, yeah, he has to translate because I don't speak English. I'm sure he'll fuck that up too. Right, Razvan? He's like, okay.
He's never going to do anything right in their lives, ever. That is what you're signing on for, Razvan. Is that worth it to go to America? And I know she's pretty, but like, she's the definition of your personality makes you less attractive.
And how was she so different on the phone that he was like, she must have just been super different on the phone.
Yeah. Less critical of everything he does.
Yeah. All right. Now it's time. Gird your loins. It's time for Jasmine and Gino.
No. You can't make me. I am here of my free will. And I have bodily autonomy. And
okay.
She made me do this, everybody.
Yep.
I didn't want to do this, okay? Just know this is not me. This is Mary Payne.
We all have to suffer through this together as a unit.
Yeah. So you should put a time code. Like, there's a safe space you can fast forward through to the next segment.
All right. So, I got it in my mind.
They are trying to continue to work on their relationships. They're taking a weekend getaway. I hope it goes better than the last one where she ripped the hat off his head.
Actually, she walked around in a thong and they're, I preferred my privacy.
I preferred that to this, actually. Mm-hmm. So, did you see her putting her lipstick on with like a paint roller because they're so big? I'm sorry. I know that's mean, but they're so big. It looks like it hurts. She pulls out like one of those giant, it's like a glue stick. That's the girth of this. It was the girth of a glue stick putting it on her lips. So,
oh my God.
She's already cranky because they're running late. And he was up all night with the poops that were not caused by Statler's parasite, although that would be funny if it had jumped countries, but by some very cheesy nachos. And she's saying, I told you not to eat all those nachos and all that cheese, and those beans are for a real man. She even has to emasculate his diarrhea. Like, even his diarrhea is not manly.
That's right. Yeah.
But he's
only a real wimp can't eat nachos. Yeah. Yes.
But he's like, Dane could eat those nachos. Dane could handle a can full of beans. So he's laughing though, because they now have this like fun banter where she's emasculating him. Mm-hmm. And it's I don't really understand what's happening still, but he's laughing along with it now. So he tells us it was very beany nachos. It was 3/4 bean dip and 1/4 nachos. Still sounds delicious. But she says, despite the diarrhea, I want this trip to go well. And that was when she says diarrhea, because before we could have just thought maybe he had indigestion or acid reflux or many other things. But then she fully tells us it was the big D, a different kind of big D.
She leaves nothing to the imagination. This woman tells it all.
Like, God forbid she gets pregnant and she starts.
Oh, God.
She will talk about every inch of that contraction, every hemorrhoid, everything.
Oh,
And that's
you're
fine.
right.
It's biological, but no, stop. So they're going to Boquete, which is close to where Gino proposed. So it has special memories for them. And it's on one of those small planes where you're basically sitting in the cockpit.
Yep.
I did not like that. Also,
Nope.
I shouldn't use the word cockpit around Jasmine. She'll get really excited.
Yeah.
So she admits that she needs to work on a lot of things and she wants the trip to go well. And she's trying to be nice. And she says, "Are you feeling better?" The diarrhea.
Oh,
Once
God.
again, reminding us that he has diarrhea. He says he would love a foot massage later, and she offers to massage him everywhere, including his upper thighs, like a mom putting sunscreen on her toddler.
Gonna massage your meat, baby.
Mm-hmm. So they go to a very nice cabin, and then we get a 20 minutes later. Don't know why. I don't know why they had to do that. Usually when they do a time code, it's like something very dramatic. But
yes.
In 20 minutes, they have apparently just changed into robes that belong to the resort, which is why I would never wear hotel robes, because I don't know how hot they're washing those things to get the Gino and Jasmine out of it.
If at all, or they just hang them back up. Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough the sheets and the comforter. And also he's wearing a hat. Like, that's his robe hat.
Yes, it's his nighttime hat. Yes.
Yeah. So she wants to know what's under that robe, baby. And I immediately think that, I don't know if there are any Arrested Development people out there, but he's a never nude. I think he wears jean shorts all the time. And also, I want him to wear jean shorts all the time because I don't want to know what the alternative is. So she says, come to sit on the bed with me, baby. Good boy. Like he's a dog or a baby. It's this weird infantilization.
Yes.
And then she goes and changes and she calls him a dirty bleep. And I did not catch what the bleep was. I watched it twice. They bleep out what she's saying, but I couldn't tell. Dirty bleep. But
dirty whore, dirty fucker. What?
I don't know, but it was endearing. It was supposed to be loving.
Okay. Dirty dick. I don't know.
So she's so excited to have a romantic night that he's finally into. So what you would think it'd be like, I finally got him to be into sex with me. I don't want to scare him off. He's like a little bunny rabbit and you got to just keep him safe, keep him from shutting down, because he's finally into it. But instead, she's going to push the boundaries and go full BDSM. So she's wearing lacy pink lingerie and thigh-high boots and he spanks her butt and then she gives him handcuffs. And he laughs like very nervous.
They both have that high pitch.
And then she pulls out, if you thought that was it, the handcuffs. No, she pulls out a ball gag, like in Pulp Fiction, like a full ball gag.
Yeah. And he is so happy for her not to talk.
She can't emasculate him if she has a ball gag in her mouth. Yes. So it's perfect. But again, you just got this man to want to kiss you, basically. Right. Are you not worried you're going to scare him off? But for some reason, Gino really gets into it. Like he's done this sort of thing before, or he watches this sort of thing on porn, and he's excited. He's playing with the whip, and he says, "Listen to daddy. You've been a bad girl." But she says, his voice, like, "Listen to daddy. You've been a bad girl."
Bad girl, Jasmine.
It's not sexy. It's not powerful. It's like, listen to daddy, right? Are you gonna listen to am I your dad? Like, so he's spanking her hard, and he says, "You will do as I say, won't you, Jasmine?" Like, you will, right? Not any of this, like, I am your commander, It's very like, please, will you listen to me? And then he goes, "I'm the one in control." And then she says, "This is making me feel like the most desired beautiful woman on earth. And I don't want to kink shame. If this does it for her, that's fine. But again, why are we seeing this on TV?
Right, exactly. And it just gets so much worse. And we don't need this. We don't need the description of it. We don't need any of it. TLC has jumped 6 sharks. We don't need this. Continue.
I think does Jasmine want to become one of those OnlyFans couples with him? And this is their launch pad?
She has OnlyFans herself for her photos and stuff. I think people would quickly withdraw their money if Gino was involved.
You never know, because Paul and Karini are on OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
So the people's depravity knows no bounds.
That's true.
I think it's funny that she keeps talking about how he got her fired by sending those photos around, and now she's talking about all of this on TV.
Yeah.
She's showing herself with a ball gag on TV.
Yeah. If she wasn't fired before, she's fired now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think their next kink, though, for sure, is Gino as an adult baby. I'm talking diapers and babe powdering his little butt and putting a passy in his mouth. I know that's what's next because she already treats him that way.
Okay.
So the next morning, they're basking in the afterglow, which means that Jasmine tells him how happy she is that he ejaculated for the first time. I can't believe I'm on a podcast saying the word ejaculated. He's beaming and blushing like
He's
a
so proud of himself.
son. Mommy, yes. I did it. I ejaculated. Mommy, aren't you proud of me? And he's like giddy. And we find out he's never ejaculated through sex with her, only masturbation. So they need to go to a sex therapist. I think there's
so. Yeah.
many, many issues here. And then she says, he had me pee on his chest. And I thought, I couldn't. Again, I'm not trying to kink shame. I don't want to hear about it. Apparently, they were in the jacuzzi. And he said, give it to me, Jasmine. Pee on your little boy here. That's what I imagined, he said. And she said, I lifted my leg like a dog. It was such a romantic experience.
It's so bad.
She lifted her. I can't. Again, you would say you were fired because he sent your boob shots to somebody, but now you've just embraced it, maybe, and you're fully talking about all this on TV. This is private time. These are indoor thoughts.
I really need to know like what his family thinks when they see something like this on TV with her talking about her peeing on his chest and him being turned on. I mean, if that's his thing, that's his thing.
What about his job? Do you think his job is okay with this?
That's right. He
has a job too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the family. Poor Uncle Marcos is way too pure for this.
It's so awful.
I can't.
So awful.
So, and the sister, daughter, what she's going to have to see. So thank God she doesn't speak that much English.
Oh, Elizabeth, her daughter / sister. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what she's going to think. And I hope her children aren't watching. Again, it's fine. I'm not trying to kink shame, but it's a private time.
Yes, I agree with you.
So, or be like on one of those shows where they talk about sex on HBO. Then that's fine.
Yeah.
This is my TLC. This is my home for the 7 Little Johnstons. They also talk about sex too much. But like the little couple and children, families who have multiple children. This is too...
we learned something.
I did learn a lot. So
what we learned is if you're going to pee on somebody, you have to lift your leg like a dog, and it's romantic. Yeah.
So they go horseback riding, and there are these close-up shots of the horses' butts. And I did not know if that was like alluding to the butt plugs or making us think about, I don't know what it was, just so many butt shots. And maybe that was just me. But
I didn't notice it.
Please someone tell me they noticed the closest up of the row of butts. So they are going on this horse ride. He's never been on a horse before. And I immediately thought, Gino's going to die. She should have waited till she got married to him and then push him off a horse.
He is so giggly about it too. He's like, "Oh, what
I've
am
never
I doing?
been on a horse before, but I was in control last night with the whips with Jasmine. So now I have the confidence to ride a horse." Okay, good luck.
Okay.
So they're riding along. The horse guide gives Gino a guava to eat and he spits it out. Again, that should have been on a More to Love scene. I don't know why that scene was there. That would
I
have
don't
that
either.
30 seconds could have been on More to Love. By the way,
Yeah.
if no one watches More to Love, you're not missing out.
I don't
Although
watch it.
last week they did have a whole scene with Tyray working out, and Tyray was not in that episode other than this
Oh.
More to Love scene.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was like, oh, there's Tyray. So they're really worthless scenes that they didn't need to put in. So they enjoy the ride though, and they're being very nice to each other. You know, she's not telling him he doesn't have the stamina for sex anymore. Like they're being nice to, it's weird.
Yes,
And
they're being nice to each other. Yes.
you know, and he can't get his helmet off. And she's like, but you look handsome with it, baby. It's just very strange. So
Mm-hmm.
then he takes a picture of her with a horse and he wants to send it to his family. And you know, something's going to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
she says, fairly calmly for Jasmine, like way more calmly than she usually is, when I come to America, I don't want your family to be so involved because I feel like they don't like me. And this all stems from this message that his cousin Dana put on her Instagram saying, "How much do you love my cousin Gino?" And Gino is in quotes. And
Makes no
it,
sense.
it makes sense if Gino is a pod person or a sex doll.
Or
And like they're
a
pretending
fake
he's a
name. I
person.
mean, yeah.
But I think it's someone said it's because it's his nickname, maybe? Like
Okay. It is strange.
it's still strange. So he tells her to just don't judge them by that one message. And she says, well, I need you to tell them that I don't take any kind of criticism lightly, which is healthy. And I think she's learned a lot from that one therapist session. And he says, I want you and Dana to hash this out. Do you think we could video call him and discuss it? And she agrees to it. But she says, if he does the slightest thing to make me feel uncomfortable, I'm going to react. Now, again, they need that therapist maybe to come in and moderate this,
Yeah.
mediate this phone call. I don't
Yeah.
think Gino's equipped because Gino just shuts down a lot of times when there's a lot of conflict.
Yes, he does.
So
Or
this
there's not
should
a
be
potato peeler.
exactly.
Shuts down over that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I hope everyone wasn't too traumatized. I would like to remind you that Mary Payne made me do that, and that was not none of this was my idea. It was Matt Sharp's idea. Blame him.
Yeah. Nobody get mad at Kimberly, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It wouldn't have been as good. Thank
I think
you.
it
Thank
would
you
have been amazing, and you would have done the accents. It would have been great. You would have been
Thank you.
clutching your pearls. One of your listeners said, I had to pause the show, drive to the store, buy pearls, drive back home, put on the pearls, and then clutch them.
That is hilarious. That is so funny. I wish I would have seen that. But, I'm trying not to be on social media too much when I'm on vacation.
Good
I
for
was,
you.
I was this morning. Ingrid was having trouble because she's in Italy and she was having trouble getting something to load on Patreon. You know how much we hate Patreon and we love Supercast.
Yeah.
Supercast worked like a charm. She couldn't get the ad-free episode to load on Patreon. So she's like, it's there. Like, can you do it? Can you load it? Can you pull it out of Google Drive? Whatever. I was like, yeah, I got it. And so Anna and I were going to the pool. I was like, you have to wait. Give me like 10 minutes. I have to do this thing really quick. This Ingrid can't get it done from Italy. And she's like, why are you working? Like, we're at the beach. Ingrid is in Italy. Why are you working? I was like,
Yeah, you never just take the week off.
No. I was like, this is my
because
job.
Matt Sharp doesn't take the week off.
No, he sure doesn't. Only for the Super Bowl. It's the only time
Mm-hmm.
it's the only time he takes a Sunday off.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't care about Christmas or anything, just
No.
the Super Bowl. All right, let's move on to Christian and Cleo.
Oh my gosh.
And this wasn't great. I think that Christian has shown himself to be exactly who we think he is. And,
Can I say another? He is the definition, same as Amanda. Personality has made you so much more unattractive.
Yeah.
I can't even look at him. He's so gross to me now.
I think that when we first saw him, we thought he was kind of cute, but now
I did. I thought he was fine. I thought he could be kind of cute. Yeah. Now I think he's greasy and gross.
Yeah. Greasy and gross. Oh, gross. You're so greasy. So she is going to tea with her friend Jane before she's going to a university lecture later. And they're meeting for tea. And she is telling Jane that at the beginning, and when they were first together, things were a little rough, but she does really like him. And after last night, she feels more confident with the potential of where things are going. And she says, we had a very nice date. And then he had brought this VR headset, which was super fun. We played with that. But then Christian acted kind of weird before we were going to sleep and was telling me that he never makes the first move, which is like a weird thing because I think he does. But then we turned out the light and we took it to the next level. And Jane says, what does that mean? She's like, what do you think it means, girl? And she says that yes, they had sex. So she says it was very nice. It was romantic. It was passionate. It was making love, not sex. And she was very happy with the whole situation. So Jane says, do you think Christian felt comfortable? And she says, I thought it would be awkward, but it wasn't. We were just two people having a good time. It felt natural. And so I'm feeling hopeful now that we will be able to be a couple after this. Like, I feel pretty positive. And then outside, Jane talks to the producer and says, yeah, it's pretty surprising he would say he doesn't make the first move. Like, that's not at all who he's portrayed
Mm-mm.
himself to be. And I think he was just having concerns about having a sexual relationship with her. And that really worries me because she deserves someone who will appreciate her and validate her and not have these concerns. So Jane is a very good friend. So back at Cleo's flat, which we have been led to believe the entire time is her flat,
No, I
producer
thought
is
it was an Airbnb.
later she says Airbnb, but like before this, she never said that, I didn't think,
She
because the
did.
cat's there.
She brought the cats to the Airbnb.
Oh,
She
because I
said,
was like,
I got this Airbnb for us to be alone. I
it
can't
has cats.
remember, but she brings the cats. Yeah.
Okay.
She said it
So,
once in the very first part.
okay. Well, I missed it because I was like, she said this was her flat. So, um, at Cleo's flat, the producers are like, okay, Christian, so was everything awkward last night? And he goes, yeah, I don't know. And he's like breaking eggs on the counter, like, look at me, just a doofus. And he says, yeah, I made the first move and yeah, we hooked up. Like, we didn't have sex, we just hit a couple of bases, just like a second base kind of a thing. Like, no home run, no home run. We have to work our way up to that, okay? And the producer's like, okay. So now it's nighttime and Cleo has called Jane again. And Jane comes up and she hugs her and says, thank you so much for coming. Like, you didn't have to do this, but I really appreciate this. And I just feel like with Christian, I feel like I've been deluded. And like, what the fuck was I even thinking? And I feel so stupid. And I just feel like he's been lying to me. Will you go with me to the Airbnb to talk to him? And Jane says, yeah, I'll go with you. So they get in a cab.
Was
So
that a cab or a production car? Because I can't, she's talking about this in the back of a cab?
it has to be a production car because otherwise the GoPros wouldn't be all set up.
Okay, thank you. You're right.
Yeah. So she says she was walking into her class and she got a text from him. And so she called him because she was like, what does this mean? Because the text was like, hey, make sure when you're talking to production, like, play down what happened with us. Like, say that we went to second base or whatever. And she says, he told me, tell producers we hit a couple of bases and that we did not have sex. And I don't know why he wants me to be so vague with the producers. She's totally breaking the fourth wall here. And she says that he said he lied to producers. And now she feels like he's manipulating her. And he said, Cleo says, he told me I lied to protect you. And Jane says, no, he's lying to protect himself.
Mm-hmm.
And Cleo goes, I feel like
Yep.
he's gaslighting me. And I feel like he just doesn't want his family and friends to know he was intimate with a trans woman. So he wants to keep it vague and not have to deal with any backlash. And then
Mm-hmm.
she says, I'm nobody's secret lover. I'm not going to be his secret lover.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I was like, good for you. And Jane says, but do you think he genuinely cares for you? And she says, well, him coming here to meet me was enough to prove that he cared. But now my trust is back to 0%. My heart is still there. And there's a part of me that wants to give him a chance. But it's hard because I don't know, for him to like after the fact call her the next day to be like, hey, I just talked to production and said this, so make sure your story's straight. And her to call him out on it is great.
Mm-hmm. I'm upset.
Stunned. Yeah.
I'm kind of stunned. Like, not stunned. I just his deal is so icky, and like there's so many weird things about this. He admitted he fooled around with a guy in college. He admitted that on camera and to his friends, I think. But he said, but it wasn't for me. Penis is not for me. No homo. Like
right.
Like, look, I'm not gay, dude. Like, but why even tell that story in the first place then if you're so worried people are going to think you're gay, And
right.
Again, she is presenting as a woman, so it doesn't make you gay to be with her. It's just your hang up. But a lot of people think he's very conflicted in his sexuality, and this is some sort of experiment for him. And that's just cruel to do to her and gross.
Yeah.
And I think all of it. And I think he's like, there's this thing like that I've recently become aware of because I'm old about. I was watching Cruel Summer, the second season. I love that show. But there's this guy who like thinks he's one of the really nice guys and like woke and feminist and all this stuff. But it actually turns out to be like he's as bad as the douchebags who are just open about the douchebaggery, Like at least they act like they're douchebags. And he's like one of those guys who's like, I would never do that. I'm woke. I'm a feminist. I'm a nice guy. I don't do things like that. And I think that's what Christian thinks he is. He thinks he's one of these nice guys, and he's actually worse because he's masquerading as a nice guy who's actually a D-bag.
Yeah. I mean, how hurt would you be if like you had hooked up with somebody and they were like, okay, but just like if your friends asked, like we didn't do it, okay?
That's horrible.
That's horrible. Yeah.
That's horrible. It's just as bad as if he was bragging that he did hook up with her and he didn't,
Right.
There's like, it's bad in different ways, but this makes it seem like he's ashamed of her. And
they're on a TV show supposed to be about their lives and supposed to be telling the truth about what's happening in their they're on a TV show about their relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Why did you sign up on that to be on TV? Was this just about being on TV? Was it about exploring something? Either way, she's a prop to you, and she's a person, and this is gross. And he's patting himself on the back like he's so cool and, such a good guy.
Yeah. Ugh. All right, let's move on to
our favorite TED Talk over.
Okay. Our favorite law firm, Statler and Dempsey.
Yeah. Am I doing them?
Yeah, you got Statler and Dempsey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Statler is loving being there with Dempsey, even though yesterday she hated every single thing about it. She was like Amanda yesterday.
Yes.
And now everything, she loves it. She wants to move there, except the cold shower situation. She still has not bathed since she's been there. And I was like, please tell me you bathed after the parasite. Like, please tell me that you bathed after all of that.
Ew.
I think she must have bathed once at the hotel and just not since then. It's still, and I'm not a big showerer, but again, if I'm like, they're like, it's just too, no. So she takes this cold shower. She's screaming because she's very dramatic, and Dempsey's laughing, and she says, if you can get through a cold shower, you can get through anything. That whole, like, it makes you stronger to take a cold shower,
Yeah.
And so they're going to meet Dempsey's dad, and he didn't like her ex after things went sour in her last relationship. So she is using him as a barometer, and if he doesn't like Statler, Dempsey might break up with her, which is not the kind of pressure Statler needs because she's already anxiety filled. So Dempsey is like, I'm so excited to show you the seaside. And Statler's like, yeah, I've been there. I went to this place and this place and this place, when I visited the first British girl that I came and tried to move in with. And so Dempsey's like, oh, well, did you have as good a time as you're having here? Like, did you like her? Like you like me? It makes her insecure. And Statler says, you are like my other half. I've never felt this way before. And she says, oh, to be in love. And they're doing this in the car. And basically, like, she's admitting she loves her. Again, she just got here. And Dempsey kind of freaks out and she doesn't say it back and she's giggling. She's like happy she said it, but she doesn't. She's like, I'm not saying it back because I need to find out what my dad thinks. And I'm worried she's moving too fast because she said she moves way too fast. She's scared off the last girl. So,
yeah.
So they go to meet the dad. Statler is so nervous. She's afraid she might poop her pants. So I was like, you still might have a parasite. So you could. Yes. Even though I still don't think she had a parasite. I think she just has massive anxiety poops.
I think she had gastroenteritis. Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. If IBS, whatever, like I feel it. You don't have to say you had a parasite. So Statler is being so much better, more friendly with the dad than she was with the cute friend. Did you notice that? Like,
yeah,
a world
she
of
hates
difference.
that friend. She hates that friend. We've seen lots of screenshots of her bashing on that friend.
Really? So she had something preconceived that she did not want to like Ben, but because the dad she's so friendly with.
Yeah, she hates that dude. Like she's like, I'll go on a live and tell you about how awful he is. He's a horrible person. She hates him. Yeah.
And he's her boss, Dempsey's boss and best friend. Yeah. And like saved her life basically by getting her this job on the farm.
Yeah.
I wonder what Statler.
Not a fan.
Wow.
Not a fan. Yeah.
So Dempsey tells the dad, yeah, we're in a relationship. This is my girlfriend. We've been in a relationship for 7 months. And imagine the dad. You just got back from a like 2-week, month-long, whatever trip to Thailand with your daughter. And she didn't tell you she was dating this girl.
Yeah.
But he handles it well. And he's like, tell me about yourself. And Statler's very awkward, but they talk about how awkward she is. And she kind of does a wacky inflatable guy at the car sales dealership, move with her arms. And then it comes up right away that this is Statler's second time to England to meet a British girl. And she tells him right away, like, yeah, I came on too strong and it scared her off and she broke up with me.
She wants me now, but I'm with Dempsey.
Yeah. So Dempsey goes to the fish and chips, get the fish and chips. And so it's just Statler and the dad. And Statler says, I wanted to move in with that first girl and that freaked her out. I love your daughter and I want to move in with her. And I hope it doesn't freak her out.
So I've learned nothing. I've learned nothing.
I'm doing exactly the same thing that ruined my life last time. And he is concerned. There are these red flags. She should not have told the dad that. He did not need to know that at all. So he tells Dempsey that she's a nice girl, or he tells us he thinks Dempsey's a nice girl, but she's moving. Sorry. He tells Dempsey, his daughter, Statler seems very nice, but I think she's moving too fast. He doesn't tell her about the moving in thing, which was like, I thought he was just going to tell her she wants to move in with you. Watch out. You're in danger, girl. But Statler is like rushing in clearly, and Dempsey fully realizes now that her dad has told her. So I probably keep saying their names backwards. Dempsey is, their names are just so like, just different.
They're like a law firm, like I said.
And they're both women. The names could be like anything, like men or women or anything, a law firm. So the dad tells Dempsey she's nice, but she's moving too fast. And Dempsey takes what her dad says very seriously to heart. So she was already thinking this, but now the dad has said this. So now she's really thinking, maybe Statler just wants to fall in love and needs to fall in love. She has these abandonment issues from being adopted. Yeah. She just wants a safe place to land. And maybe it's not even about me that she loves. She just wants to be somewhere and in love. Or she wants to flee the US for some reason. Like, I get it. I would love to leave. Like she just like, my lease is up. I'm ready to go, And
it's all about this lease is up at the end of the month. I was like, I bet you can get an extension, girl.
Just get an extension. Yeah. Rent an Airbnb for a month and then you have more time to think about this. So the next day it's Valentine's Day and Statler gives Dempsey a foot massage and she is giddy. She says, I think yesterday went so well. Your dad loved me. This was the best parent meeting I've ever had. And Dempsey is like, yeah. Yeah, he liked you. And then Dempsey has to go to work. And so Statler's creating a romantic scavenger hunt at the trailer for her for Valentine's Day. And she wants to tell Dempsey I want to move in. And I hope she feels the same way. I told her kind of that I loved her yesterday and she didn't say it back, but I think we're on the same page. And meanwhile, Dempsey is thinking we really need to slow down and this is going way too fast.
Yeah.
So
I think she's going to say no, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's literally doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That she did last time.
Yeah. I think Statler should get an apartment in the closest town, and that way she doesn't have to have country life, but they can visit each other's place while they get to know each other a little better. Yeah,
that's perfect. If she wants to go to England so badly, it would give them a break. And if it doesn't work out, she still might have built up a life there for herself.
Right.
With another, the third English girl that she's going to
on to the next girl. Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. It's like that guy with the Norwegian beautiful lady on the other 90 Day. Mm-hmm. And I think they should move in together. He's being a jerk by backpedaling on that. But it does make sense in this case that maybe, I think it's a great idea. You should write them a letter.
Okay, I think I will.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're done with them, we can move on to Meisha and Nicola. And yes, guys, we've seen the pictures of them together. We've seen the pictures of them together at the Mall of America.
I think he is going to think that hot dog on a stick is un-Catholic and Orange Julius is a sin. And if you shop at Forever 21, you're a whore.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Mall of America is something. I have been to it one time.
Yeah, I've been there several times. They have a whole amusement park inside.
Yeah, they do. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't like to have fun, though. So
no, Meisha, the devil. So she says she's going to go down to get coffee. She has on her pajamas and some flats. And so she goes down to get coffee. And it's this tiny little paper, like shot glass.
Is that for espresso? I don't drink espresso, but that's what an espresso shot looks like, right?
It's so tiny.
Small.
So small. So she says, I just had to get out of that room. You know, I'm trying to stay hopeful, but I am feeling depleted of any hope with the situation with him. So then he comes out also with a tiny little paper cup. And it looks like a little tiny thing in their big giant hands, you know. So he sits down and he goes, "What's going on, Meisha? Are you sad or what?" And she says, "You know what, Nicola? I just feel very confused." And he says, "What do you want me to do, Meisha? Whatever you want, I will do it for you, Meisha. Just tell me. You don't like certain ways I behave, and I want to work on it, Meisha, because I love you, Meisha. I want it to work. I want the relationship to work." So in his talking head, he goes, "I think some of the problems is me. It's all you."
Duh.
Yeah. And the culture. And he says it may be as like a Middle Eastern man. Yeah. It's the relationship is not for the public. And maybe I just need to change his ways for her to, understand me.
It's not even that she wants you to make out with her in public. She wants you to not actively make fun of her in front of your friends.
Yeah.
That's not too much to ask.
And not constantly say her name all the time like she's an idiot. Okay, Meisha. So she says, "I feel like you don't listen to me. And sometimes I wonder, like, who you really are. Because the Nicola that I knew on the phone or this Nicola that's ahead of, in front of me now." And he says, "Okay, Meisha, forgive me. Maybe I need to be more gentle and sweet with you. And you teach me so much. And I love your laugh. It's so cute. And you're so friendly to everyone. And you have such a good heart. And you love God. And you are so beautiful, Meisha. Can you please have patience with me, Meisha? I'll do everything to make you happy, Meisha. This is my promise, Meisha."
I wish she had been like, "You just reminded me of all the reasons why I am so much better than you." Goodbye.
That's right. I do have all those things going for me. What the hell am I doing here?
Ladies, raise your standards. Be your own Prince Charming. The funniest line ever on Pillow Talk was Patrick's brother. You know, the one that's with like sparkles. I can't remember. It's John. And John goes, "He looks like a koala." And then they keep showing his face, and they should have done a side by side. He does look like a koala. His face looks like a koala.
He looks like a donkey. He looks like a donkey.
We're going to do a side by side. Donkey, koala, and Nicola, and see what we're going to do a voting thing. Okay. I'll do it on Twitter.
Okay. It's definitely.
I'm going to win. It's koala. But
no,
it's
koalas are cute and cuddly and
I know.
adorable, and he's not.
I know.
No. So he kind of
I
gives.
think donkeys are cute too.
Yeah, they're not. But anyway, he's saying the right things. Like he's like, I do love you, and
Yeah.
I do want to change, and I'm trying to have patience, and I want to make you happy, and all this. So she says in her talking head, she's like, I do love him, and I want to believe we have a future together. And in this next week, we're just going to see if we can kind of start fresh, and I'm see if he can change a little. And then as he's talking, the church bells chimes, and he goes, "Do you hear the church bell, Meisha? That means I'm telling the truth." She's like, yes, yes, okay, yes.
That bell goes
Oh,
off all the time.
it goes off
You're
every 30 minutes.
you're lying half the time. You're just because you're not being a jerk at that one moment. Don't fall for it, Meisha.
Don't do it, Meisha. So next we're going to go to next, and we're going to end with Tyray and Carmella, which is just Tyray and a person named Carmella that he's never met.
I can't. So it's been a month since the meeting with the private investigator. So
Okay.
that's why we haven't been seeing him. And he's embarrassed that he was catfished. He never stopped messaging the fake Carmella, though. He kept trying to get an answer this whole time, but they stopped writing back, who I guess is Christian. He considers the fake Carmella, this is his phrasing. Fake Carmella is the one that he was writing to, who is Christian, a man.
Right.
The real, who he calls the real Carmella, is the woman in the photos. I think this is all backwards, and the real Carmella is the one he was writing to and connecting with. That it's all confusing. So he really wants to see that he wants to confront someone, and he wants to find Christian, see if it was really love. It wasn't. We all know this. The fact that it was a catfish, it's like he's in some weird like romance novel or some like where or like someone is like scamming someone but then falls in love with them, or there's like a hitman who's hired to hit someone but then like can't help but fall in love with them. So I think he thinks that's what happened. Like someone was out to scam him, but then they just couldn't help it. They fell in love with Tyray because he's so lovable.
Right. And they have 14 other people that are doing the same thing too.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. But he's the one that matters. He's the one that counts. So the PI had given him the info for who he calls the real Carmella, the woman in the photo. Again, I would consider the real Carmella the one he was talking to, but the one in the photo is hotter and a woman. So to Tyray, that's the real Carmella. Even though she doesn't know you, she has had no connection with you. It was just her photos that were taken.
Yeah.
So he messaged her and said, someone's been using your photos to catfish me. And she says, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And he feels like, I think I'm getting somewhere. Where are you getting? So, and we see him packing up his luggage, and his mom comes in and he's like, don't look at my underwear, Mom. That's embarrassing. She's seen it.
Packing in the living room.
Yeah, she's seen it all.
One of these things on this show that I hate the most, the packing in the living room.
I know you do. He's packing Pringles, and I was mad. I said, cameraman, stop zooming in on those Pringles, because he's a bigger dude that you're trying to shame him, and don't do it. So we had thought in the previews that he was going, or at least I thought, he was going to visit Christian, the one he was talking to, the one he had built this connection with, to see if it was really love. But he's going to see the woman in the photos, who again is barely part of this story. It's just her image that was used.
Right. He's going to meet
to me
the real Carmella.
Yeah, to me, this proves that he is just horny and in lust. And if it was really love, he would go find the person he had made this connection with and professed his love to, and see what was going on there, and marry that man, Christian, if it was really love. But
he doesn't like dude, so he can't put those pieces together in his brain.
He can't, and I'm disappointed, Tyray. Not that I ever had hope in you, but I've been sad with you since the beginning. But poor Tyray. So he asked the woman who lives in Denver, can I come and visit you and talk about what happened? Yeah. And what do you need to get from her? Like, again, you've never spoken to this woman. She has nothing to do with this, except you saw her stolen pictures and thought that she was hot, and you thought you were going to have sex with her, and now you think maybe you can still have sex with her. Like, She
No.
doesn't know you. It's so creepy that you're going to visit her in Denver. But she says yes. And he keeps pretending that he's not sure that she might still be involved in the scam, and maybe she can lead him to Christian. And he says that's why he's going. Sure, Jan. I don't buy that for 1 second.
I don't either. I think he just wants to have dinner with a hot chick.
1000%. And his mom is concerned that he is now emotionally invested in this woman who he doesn't know, but he saw her pictures, and he's going to get his heart broken again. And he says, well, I'm not going to fall in love with her. Sure, Tyray. So thank goodness his sisters are going with him. And at least his mom is not in the hospital now, which he did go the last time when she was in the hospital. Never forget. So he's concerned that he might put his love for the old Carmella into the new Carmella, which is exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least he's aware of it. But I do think he thinks this hot chick is going to feel bad for him and kiss him or something, like take pity on him. And
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's in Denver. He's nervously ironing a sweater that didn't need to be ironed.
That was so weird. I've never seen anybody iron a sweater. It's very strange.
That, like, it was perfectly flat. It was like cable knit. Like, it wasn't wrinkly. So he's worried that he's going to catch feelings, but he's also worried that she's going to think he's a loser and for being catfished. And he also thinks he owes her something for meeting with him and taking the time and letting him fly there and be creepy. So he wants to buy her a gift. And the sisters are like, why do you need to buy her a gift? This is weird. And they make him settle on a candle because they think that's the least creepy gift. Because
he wants to get jewelry.
He wants to get, or lingerie. He's going to bring like edible panties or something. He's then worried, maybe I will look like a creeper. Yes. You do. Yeah. You flew there. Go with that instinct. You are a creeper. And his sisters are apparently now not going with him. They just flew there to support him, but they're not going to the meeting. That was the whole point.
They should be sitting like 2 tables over with their eyes on the situation. Yeah.
I want like microphones and earpieces, and they are within reaching distance so they can pull him out or pull poor Carmella out of that situation.
Yeah. Dogs. Sorry.
So they're upset too. So he says, I'm confronting her because I want to see if she's involved in this scam, but I also have butterflies because I'm finally going to see the woman in the photos that I fell in love with. He's all over the place.
Yeah. He still hasn't completely worked it out in his mind what happened here.
No, he totally hasn't.
No.
So, and then they're doing this like zooming on the door, and he's waiting anxiously and he keeps looking at the door. And then they're making us, oh my God, is she not going to show up? What's going to happen? And he's so thirsty. He's like downing his drink. He's so nervous. And then he's thinking, what if she shows up and Christian is with her?
Right.
That's not logical. Where does Christian live? I thought
we don't know.
We still don't know where Christian lives. Why on earth, even if they know each other, Christian and Carmella, which I don't think they do, why would she bring Christian?
It makes no. He doesn't understand what happened. He still doesn't understand what happened.
It's making me think I don't understand what happened, and I don't like that. So then, like, someone walks through the door, and we're only seeing feet, and then they do a cliffhanger. Because last week was a cliffhanger on who died, and now it's who walked into the door.
Yeah, totally. Well, next time on Before the 90 Days, Statler tells Dempsey that she wants to move in with her. And we just see Dempsey like, oh. Gino, I'm so sorry about the dogs. I don't know what they're barking at. Gino does a FaceTime with cousin Dana and Jasmine together. And Dana's like, I don't like some of the things look like you're spending my cousin's money on. Look like you got your face work done and your body things done. And I don't know if that's love.
You look like a beat Eva Longoria.
She's
At
like,
least that's what Kimberly thinks.
I'm
sorry.
Christian
that's
says,
going to go bad. She's going to throw that phone. If she doesn't throw that phone, that will be real growth.
Yeah. She's going to say, we have to hang up now. Goodbye. Click.
Yeah.
So Christian says to Jane and Cleo, why would I lie? And she goes, I don't know, but you did. And he says, well, not in my mind. And Christian says, you've
What?
called. Yeah, so he says he doesn't feel like he lied. So he's lying by omission, I guess. And
But he
Christian
did lie.
says,
He lied about
he,
specifically if they had sex or not and what
yeah.
base they went to. But
And then
maybe he
asked,
doesn't think it's a lie because he was protecting her. So maybe he thinks he was like being a gentleman or something.
maybe, or again, a lie by omission. He just left out part of it,
Mm-hmm.
And Christian's like, well, you called me a manipulator and a gaslighter. And I don't even know if I can be in this relationship anymore. Like, if you're going to call me these things. Okay, whatever.
Now we now have a new generation of young people on this show. Like when this show first started, we didn't know the buzzwords of gaslighting and manipulation,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
the millennials and the Gen whatevers are super hip to that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because she said it too. And then we see David and Sheila. They're sitting with Amy, the interpreter, and she's saying, when I get to the States, were you going to be able to pay for us to live? And he says, explain to her that I'm not rich. I work 2 jobs just to live. Like, I'm not rich. And he says, I think that she thinks I'm really rich. Like, I have a lot of money. I think that anything is going to be more than what she's got. She lives in
Mm-hmm.
a shanty that
Mm-hmm.
broke and killed her mother. I did see a lot of people said that they thought that the reason the steps broke and the mother died is because of like production and everything, and then walking all around probably weakened it.
Also, David is a huge man compared to all of these tiny
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
I don't want to blame David.
I don't
Those
want to blame
stairs looked
anybody.
rough before there was a production team.
Totally.
But what, oh my
Uh,
God, do you think a cameraman feels horrible now? Like, what if my
yeah,
camera hit the stairs and it weakened the structure?
yeah. Or them just having to have like a cameraman climb up there to film them, and. Um, so then we go to Razvan and Amanda, and Razvan says, Amanda compared me a lot to Jason, and in her heart, she says it won't work. And he cries because
And
she's telling
apparently
him,
she was really nasty. Like, there was another preview that came up during another commercial, and she
okay,
says, I did say some horrible things to him. Like, that he doesn't
why?
compare to Jason.
She's
Yeah.
so mean.
Yeah.
She's so mean. And then somebody walks in to see Tyray. We don't know who. It's
Yeah.
just like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's annoying. I'm like, give us something.
I mean, I say good for Carmella if she doesn't show up. She has
Yeah.
no need to. But she might
Yeah.
want to be on TV too.
I'm Carmella's friend. I'm here to represent. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Why did you
Hmm.
fly here? I want to see the proof that she said, sure, you can come here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to know. This
I
Carmella is just like, I'm just coming to meet this guy because he's been catfished with my pictures and it's a chance for me to be on TV. So sure. But of course, in
yeah.
his mind, he's like, she knows what Christian said to me. And that means she really felt those things. And
Maybe she
yeah,
read the messages I sent to Christian and she fell
yeah,
for me because of
right,
my heartfelt words.
right, right. That's just not what happened.
No.
She's got nothing. This woman has absolutely nothing to do with it.
No.
She's just the photos that somebody stole off the internet.
Exactly. And he's going to come in love with her. And that is such a creepy, weird imbalance.
Yeah, totally. Well, that is the end of our episode. And as you guys know, you can follow Kimberly and Katie over on Instagram at Dateline. And wherever you get your podcast, they have a wonderful podcast called A Date with Dateline. Right now, they're covering people frogging with the pH, and that is when people hide like an alligator in your ceiling.
While
And
you're
that's
living
weird.
there. It's different than squatting. Squatting is like
Right.
if it's a vacant house and no one's there. Frogging is they are living amongst you.
And you don't know it.
Yeah, and
And
you
you
don't
don't
know it.
know.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Also, I do better recaps there, and I don't mix up people's names as much as I do with Statler and Dempsey.
Yeah,
I
everybody
promise.
go over and listen to A Date with Dateline. And hey, while you're over there, follow us on Instagram at Pink Shade Pod. I believe we're also on Threads, and of course, we're on Twitter and Facebook and all the things. So go ahead and look for us. Go ahead and look for A Date with Dateline and live your best life with humor and laughter and not sourpuss like Amanda.
Look at that, giving life advice.
That's right, life advice. All right, Kimberly, I will talk to you next week.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, bye.
Bye.